only Christmas tree worth having this year is the Tree of Evolutionary Life, now in its limited edition winter form. Grab this limited time poster now while you can. It depicts every single Pokemon and how they'll be related to each other, including the all-new Melmetal. Using the links below, grab one for yourself or for a friend. Hey Pokemon Masters, Birdkeeper Toby here, and welcome back to Kanto Week. This is the week where there'll be a new video every single day this week to celebrate the release of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I'm actually going to be streaming the games on Twitch at the end of the week, so I hope you enjoy that, look forward to it. And this is one of those videos that's incredibly risky because it's either going to be proven by the end of the week or completely debunked by the end of the week. So here we go, final predictions for Let's Go, but before I get started, there's a chance for you to win a copy of Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee. All you got to do is leave a like, leave a comment. Each of those entries on any of my videos titled as Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee, it acts as an entry. Any of the videos this week acts as an entry, and sometime next week I'll be declaring a winner. Someone, somewhere in the world is gonna win some copies of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So, what am I talking about today? This is a video idea I've been thinking about for a little while. I actually did a video a while back talking about evolutions, how do they incorporate all the crazy different evolution mechanics into future games, and I mentioned a little bit about Alolan forms. But as far as we know, other than these in-game trades, the only way to get the Alolan forms in the game is by transferring them from Pokemon Go. So make sure you're getting those Alolan forms. And I don't think every Alolan form is going to be available via in-game trades by the NPCs. I might be wrong, but it just seems like a lot, you know? There's quite a few Alolan forms out there. But you know, I think I've worked out which Alolan forms you will be able to get via in-game NPCs. Those are the three special ones: Alolan Marowak, Alolan Executor, and Alolan Raichu. And why are these three Pokemon special? Is because their pre-evolutions are not Alolan forms. There's no Alolan Pikachu, Execute, or Cubone. Whereas with every other Alolan form, it's the entire evolutionary family. And for that reason, you can't get these three Alolan forms in eggs in Pokemon Go. You can get every other Alolan form in eggs or in the wild. The other Alolan forms are relatively accessible, but Executor only seems to appear when there's certain events on, and as far as Marowak and Raichu, they are raid bosses. They are hard to get. Unless you're a half-decent Pokemon Go player, chances are you're not going to be getting these Pokemon and thus not going to be able to complete your Pokedex. So, to make it a little bit easier for the casual players, I reckon these three are the three that are going to be available in Let's Go. But it doesn't stop there, because fundamentally I think these three Pokemon have important places in the story where they'll be tradable. First off, I'm going to start with the evolution of Pikachu. I'm going to start off with Alolan Raichu. It might not be obvious at first as to the point where in the game you'll be able to get this Pokemon, because it's not like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon where you travel through an Ultra Wormhole and then you can evolve your Pikachu, Cubone, or Execute there to get their regular forms. As far as we know in Let's Go, there's no Ultra Wormhole that's going to take you to Alola so that you can evolve your Pokemon. No. We know, though, that these are the three Pokemon that, in my opinion, are the ones that are going to be the NPC trades. That's how you'll obtain them, and when it comes to Raichu, I suspect it will be south of Fuchsia City. And at first you might be going, hang on, what's south of Fuchsia City? I've played Red and Blue, I've played Fire Red, Leaf Green. What? Well, if you played Pokemon Yellow, which is the spiritual kind of ancestor to this game, you'll know that there's a minigame, a Surfing Pikachu minigame. It's seen in Pokemon Yellow. Surfing Pikachu is a classic part of Pokemon lore. It's seen on Pokemon cards, and recently they've actually revealed that the ability for quote-unquote for surf is using a massive surfboard, and we see you surfing with Pikachu. I suspect it's whoever gives you this technique, the ability for your Pikachu to do this, whoever teaches you this will be south of Fuchsia City, and that makes sense because in the original games you got surf in the Safari Zone, which of course is no longer a thing. It's been replaced with the Go Park, so instead you're going to get the technique that way. And that same character, whoever teaches you that technique, or maybe in the same house as that character, maybe someone who used to run that mini game, but now every Pikachu can surf, so it's not a big deal anymore. That is the person who will offer you an Alolan Raichu in trade, because of course, as we all know, Alolan Raichu is a surfing Pokemon. I just can't think of a more fitting place in Let's Go where it would be obtainable. Number 2 is Alolan Marowak, and I think it's pretty clear where this Pokemon goes. Lavender Town, obviously. In fact, when we first saw Alolan Marowak, I was pretty convinced that this was the ghost Pokemon from the tower. In fact, we don't know yet because we haven't seen it as of the point of me making this video. But maybe they'll have switched out the ghost in the Lavender Town tower for a ghost-type Marowak, the Alolan Marowak. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I think they would ruin it a little bit if it was. But either in the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town or in Mr. Fuji's orphanage, perhaps, there will be a character who I believe will offer you an Alolan Marowak in trade. Maybe even for a regular Marowak to look after the mother. In fact, that would make sense. I think for a lot of these Alolan forms, the trades, the NPC trades that have been confirmed, I think they'll just be asking for the regular form of the Pokemon. So it makes sense if they're asking for a regular Marowak in trade for the Alolan Marowak, so that the regular Marowak can look after the regular Cubo baby, and you can take the Alolan Marowak, a ghost type, which, pretty significantly, ghost types are only catchable in Lavender Town in the Kanto games. To me, that just makes sense. And finally, we have Alolan Executor, the kind of poster child of the Alolan forms. And I think this Pokemon will be tradable to you by an NPC who is hanging out somewhere in Fuchsia City, somewhere by the Go Park. I actually think this will be the first of the Alolan forms that will be offered to you in trade, and the reason that I think it goes there is, one, in the original Pokemon games, Executor was catchable in the Safari Zone, which, as we know, is no longer available. Number two, Alolan Executor is the poster child, as I've said, for the Alolan forms, and the Alolan forms, most of them are only going to be catchable by trading through Pokemon Go, and so it would make sense to have an NPC who offers you one and says if you want to get more, you're going to have to connect to your Pokemon Go. And three, Alolan Executor is a Dragon type. And that might not seem significant, but just like the ghost types, the only place in Kanto that dragon types are catchable in previous iterations of the game is in the Safari Zone. In fact, I've talked about it several times, but I think there's a number of theories talking about how the Safari Zone in the first place was kind of set up as a place to keep hold of and look after rare Pokemon like dragon types. That's why you can find very rarely Dratini and Dragonair there, and lots of other rare Kanto Pokemon. And maybe the reason Execute was moved there is because in the Alola region it is a dragon type, they imported it, but because of the lack of sunlight and the wrong environment and climate, it gradually evolved and turned into the Cantonian Executor. For me, I would have flat out said the Safari Zone, but obviously we don't have the Safari Zone, we have the Go Park, so I think just outside the Go Park, or somewhere maybe in the Fuchsia City zoo that they have outside, somewhere in that area, you will be offered an Alolan Executor in trade for an Executor. Now, this video is entirely prediction based. I have no idea what's going to happen. Maybe it won't even be these Alolan forms that are tradable via NPCs. Maybe you'll be able to be offered everything. As far as everything else goes, it doesn't really feel like there's a place where, like, you know, an Alolan Sandshrew or an Alolan Vulpix, there's nothing specific to these Pokemon that I think fit. But certainly for these three Alolan forms, they are different to the other Alolan Pokemon, and I think it would make sense for these ones to be the tradable one, and I think these locations are the locations you'll be able to get them. That, of course, is just my thoughts. Feel free to leave yours with a comment, with a like, or even a dislike. Everything counts as an entry towards someone winning a copy of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and of course, look forward to tomorrow. More videos coming every single day this week. So hi, Pokemon Masters. A massive shout out goes to my incredible patrons, many of who you can see the name of on screen now. Most of all to the big patrons of the month, Yoni, Sobin, and Xavius. If you want to find out how you can support the channel, please check out the links to Patreon in the description below and get some of those sweet, sweet perks. Thank you.